Hello everybody, so I am here at the land which you will be designing for your final design, if it were, on the permaculture online course. And I just wanted to video record it and show you it, and later I will give you the site survey, my site survey, so the soil pH, the biological and soil monitoring chart that will be filled out by me in the different tests, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So if I just quickly talk you through it. So up here is the entrance, and don't worry about remembering all of this. I'll make sure I put it on this same video. I'll make sure I put the pictures up of the actual site map, which I'll draw as well. So up here we have the entrance, and we have a neighbour over here, and we have big hedges. So great windbreaks all along here, poplar trees, beech trees, oak trees, we have cherry trees as well. And look at that, how gorgeous it is. So amazing. So each side is pretty covered. This side is not so covered. And by remembering where the sun is, that is the east is that way, yes. So east is that way, and west is that way. So on the northwesterly side, we've got a really good windbreak, and on the east side, it has got windbreak, but they're poplar trees. But there's also a lot of and they're quite dead as well, actually, looking at it. They are quite dead. But there's also wind that can get through passages as well. So if I just show you that. So this is the east side. So if you can see, it has got some windbreaks on there, but it's also got air flowing up as well. And they're not too high as well, so they don't block out much sun. So they're pretty healthy, really. Like this place is very healthy. Just below this side as well, on the south side to the west side. Yeah, in the south to the west side there is a well, really it's all along from the west to the north of it is a river, and it follows all along that side. And then we've also got a slope as well, which I'm sure you'll be very pleased about learning what you've just learnt on the course. You'll be able to utilize that very well. So if I just show you this bit now, I am stood kind of in the middle of the land now, and we have a lovely slope here, and then we have further trees, still looking at oaks, some pines as well. See some pines back there. I see a willow as well down there. Yeah, so we've got this slope here, and we've got the trees bordering it. Also some elderflowers there. Probably going to pick them for tea in a minute. And also on the barefoot journey on the land as well. Keeps you connected to it. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yes. Okay, this is a great thing to say. So we can actually see, you might not be able to see because of the sun, but you can see that obviously this is the south. So south is around here and west is here. And you see this kind of shade coming from the trees now. That's the first amount of shade. So I'll note that on the land, on the map. There's some shade there that you can see, and also it starts up here as well. So really it gets so much sun here. But you should be able to see that shade coming up there now. It gets so much sun here. In the mornings, it's going to be quite shady because of this easterly barrier, this kind of northeasterly barrier of trees. But once it does get high enough, then it will really shine here. And I see some more birch trees here as well, that's good. And a sycamore there. With the pine. Lovely. Very good good trees to have around here. You can utilise them even just for teas and for healing, stuff like this. Now this is the path that goes all the way down, and it goes down to right down to the end of the river, which is a really lovely walk. Yeah, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that the land has just been cut, which was it was a bit annoying because I wanted to show it to you when it was all in bloom. But this was basically a big meadow, and it had some grasses on it, and it had buttercups, some dandelions, also stinging nettles as well. Yeah, and it was cut just before. It was cut like a couple of days ago, and I was walking past like, I really need to do this video, and then it got cut. So, but it's good because you can actually see how the land is. You can actually see the land itself rather than the plants. Here's the slope that we're looking at. So that's the top of it there, and it just goes down, and this bit is a bit more mellow, this bit here, top, and then it goes quite mellow down, and then this bit is more of a steep slope there. So another point on weathering is this lower part. It's in the kind of northwesterly area, northwest, and it's the end of the slope, and it's kind of where the dip is in the corner as well, and that corner and the rest of it as well gets really cold really quickly, and of course you know why that is now, because the heat is rising and the cold air is accumulating down in the bottom of it. So that of course makes it really cold, and something to think about as well for the design is how can we prevent that hot air from leaving so soon, maybe even from the bottom layers as well, not just waiting until it gets to the top of the permaculture site, but where the windbreak is, but also how can we stop it in pockets as well, because it's not just next to our windbreak where we want hot air, right? We want hot air as much as we can here anyway. Incredible amount of wildlife here as well. So we have deers, foxes, badgers, squirrels, birds, loads of birds. Really is a gorgeous place to be, and would be amazing to see it even more abundant as well, right? I mean, I can't imagine how many insects were actually here before they cut it as well, and then once they cut it, obviously it destroys the habitat, and a lot of the insects that could live in that habitat can't live there anymore. Good for the birds, of course, because when the crop is cut, the birds have, very easy pickings. Also seen a lot of slugs and worms actually, which obviously are quite beneficial for the system, even though we all don't like slugs, but they all do beneficial things. And it's been really sad to see them on this dirt track, which is just here on that dirt track, and it's been quite dusty, and they get dried up in the sun and the dust trying to cross it. Which has been a bit sad to see. This is the site. A very beautiful place, and I really look forward to seeing what you can do with it, what you can come up with. I would love to see your designs, your ideas, and it's just based on the information I've given you. Just try and do the best you can. It's only a permaculture. You've just started really the permaculture journey, so just play around and don't be so hard on yourself with it, and really enjoy it, because it's very fun to do this. I mean, I find it really fun, and yeah, it can be quite. Sometimes it can be quite technical if you're using a computer. So maybe it's better for you to draw it. I don't know. Personally, I love using the computer for it. Because it's really efficient and I can do many things with it. But also sometimes it can take the fun out of it, and it can take the art out of it. So, totally up to you what you decide. But yeah, I'll do the map of this, and you can see how it goes. So I'm in a small part of it now where they haven't cut, and it's quite tall. It's about to your hips, and you can see many different types of grasses here, dock leaves, nettles again, some different clovis as well on the bottom, on the ground cover, and sorrel as well. Sorrel's here for the party. And yeah, if you just turn the camera around a little bit, just so you can see. Very beautiful when it's left. You'll also hear the river just down there as well. So I'm at the southern end of the map, and looks like we've come into a bit of a problem. Not a problem, because the problem is the solution, remember? But it's boggy here. It's very boggy. And I found that out because I stepped in it because I was barefoot. You can see here some wet patches. My foot's getting wet at the moment. It's lovely. Also found some horsetail as well. Some more wildflowers. Beautiful. Different types of ivy. So these are all good indicators, remember, of what the soil is like. So is it, I mean, down here it's going to be plants that love the damp and boggy conditions. And if you can get to know your plants well, then you can really understand the site quite quickly from what's grown there already. you'll know the soil pH maybe, or the estimated soil pH. Maybe even if you went deep enough into it, you could know what kind of bugs were here, or what kind of predators they were attracting, etc. It's this deep knowledge which has not, it's been lost, and that's what permaculture is about, regaining. I have a bit of soil in my hand, and this soil is from our site. It's from the southern end, near the boggy area. It's very squidgy. It's kind of dark brownish in colour, and I can make quite a good ball with it, and I can also roll a good sausage with it as well. So interesting that it's squidgy straight after a tractor has been on it as well. So it's not dried by the sun, which means it had ground cover, which means it had protection, and that's clear to me because I knew this was a meadow before I saw it. So it hasn't been scorched by the sun. So normally what you'll see in typical farming monoculture is that the ground is extremely dry, and the ground is eroding through sun scorching and wind and water from the rain. But this isn't, so it's had good suitable ground cover, to go through what it's just gone through with a tractor on it. I think it's done pretty well, and it looks still quite high. It feels hydrated still. It's still quite squidgy, which is a really good sign, to be honest, even though it's had that compaction from the tractor. So here is the southwest corner. Beautiful little corner. The earlier video is up here. That's where the boggy area is, just there. All along here there's the forest, there's a river, and it's got great windbreak. It's quite hilly here as well, so there's hardly any wind really coming from there. Of course the wind does get through, but it's definitely protected. And I'm stood in the shade at the moment. It's quite shady with parts of the sun nipping through the leaves as well, but you can see shade all along here, and then the sun is up there. So it's quite a shady little area really, and in the winter it's only going to get more shady as well. I'm at the westerly corner, and you can see, look at that crumbly topsoil dust that will hopefully not be eroded, but probably will get eroded if it rains hard, and it will wash into the river. It's been scorched by the sun, and it's very tough, little rocks, crumbly, tough to dig in. So that's just a quick example of the differences in soil from the boggy area which we saw in the previous video to this crumbly topsoil. So very interesting part of the land, which is good to learn from, which the tractor has exposed for us, so it's not all bad. Do you remember the video about the water table being lower the lower that you get, and the soil being more the lower that you get? Well, this is a good proof of that. The tractor has come over the land and it has brought up the water. See here? The shiny bits in the water are most likely iron, kind of bluish tinty things. But it's really interesting, and also you've got like the big tractor marks as well, which really he must have, or they must have, it's kind of on a bit of a contour of the land, and the way that the tractor has, the tyres have gone in, it's kind of created a level for the water as well. So it has kind of made this level in the land. So it's very interesting how the water is so close as well. And bear in mind, we haven't had rain here in maybe about 2 weeks, which is also something to consider in the design as well. How often does it rain here, and how are you going to catch that rain, and how are you going to make sure you've got enough water for the days, the weeks, the months that it does not rain as well. So planning and the preparation, that's why it helps so much. We have a whole generation of nettles and cleavers on the northwesterly side of the site, so they're really enjoying themselves, having a great time. And we've got Uncle elderflowers, lots of them. Now I'm going to do the base map, walk the perimeter of the land, do my biological monitoring chart and soil monitoring chart, and the relevant soil tests as well, pH test, etc. For the pH test, I'll be using this. It's basically take a sample of the soil and put it in a glass of water. You've got to test your water as well to see what pH that is, because obviously if your water is really acidic, it's going to throw it off. If it's too alkaline, throw it off. So just bear in mind that figure when you're doing your soil test. And then, yeah, so soil in a glass, the water, put the test in, leave it there for about 30 seconds and take it out, and then match it with the relevant colours. And that's how I'm going to conduct this soil test for this site. And yeah, really look forward to everybody's designs. Happy designing.